안녕하세요.
Welcome to lesson 4 of your beginner's course. Have you remembered much from last lesson?
I hope you've learned a lot. 많이 배웠으면 좋겠어요.
Yep. Previously in the series, we talked a little bit about the topic of family, about siblings like 형, 동생, and so on. But now we're going to check out some more family words with a focus on grammar.
동생 가족에 몇 명 있어?
우리 가족은 저하고 형하고 엄마하고 아빠예요. 누나는요?
우리 가족은 나하고 남동생하고 엄마하고 아빠하고 강아지야.
강아지도 있어요? 강아지의 이름이 뭐예요?
강아지 이름은 뽀뽀야. Anyway, what about other family members who you don't live with?
Well, there's my 할머니 and my 할아버지. 우리 할머니는 런던에서 계시고 할아버지는 지금 한국에 계세요.
Notice that Koreans often use 우리 instead of 나의 or 내 when expressing my. And this is in part due to homogeneous culture in Korea. In other words, meaning that it's more common to express a more communal our than an individual I.
Right. So Koreans often say 우리 학교, 우리 집, 우리 동생, 우리 나라, and usually not 나의 학교, 나의 집, 나의 동생, 나의 나라. But 누나, what about people who don't have siblings? What are they called in Korean?
Siblings are 형제, so you might hear a Korean ask, 형제가 있어요? And if you don't have any brothers or sisters, you are a 외아들, an only son, or 외딸, an only daughter.
네. 아들 is son, and 딸 is daughter. Some other words you might find useful are 부모님, 조부모, 삼촌, 사촌. And most importantly, remember that the word for family is 가족.
Today I'm going to test your tenses, 동생. Do you know how to use Korean verbs?
네. In dictionaries, verbs always have the 다 ending. One of the most common verbs is 하다, to do. 하다 can change to 해 or 해요 when conjugated. This would be the simple present form, right?
Right. But not all verbs add 에 to their stems. When conjugating a verb, remember how to remove the da first. Then you need to think about the stem. In fact, 하다 is irregular, so most verbs won't have 에 in their stems. Let's look at the verb to eat, 먹다. Verbs with the 기역 base consonant are followed by 어 or 어요 in simple present.
Okay, so I could say 우리 형은 피자를 먹어요.
잘했어.
Oh, you added something to 해, right? The double 시역 base shows past tense, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So in present, it would be 형이 피자를 먹어요. And in past, it'd be 형이 피자를 먹었어요. I guess we have to remember that another 어 syllable is needed after the double 시역 base consonant.
Let's first look at some verbs in standard dictionary form. 마시다, 가다, 오다, 알다, 듣다. In present, I could say 나는 차를 마셔. Verbs with the end of the stem ending in e change their endings to 여 when conjugated. Let's look at 나는 학교에 가. With some verbs whose stems end in a, you don't need to change anything in the present form. But 오다 is a bit more special. Look at 나는 아침에 와. For verbs with stems ending in o, the o is joined by an a in conjugation, and so we get this 와 sound. Then there's 나는 알아. For verbs whose stems end in 릴, add an a for the present tense. Finally, there's the very irregular 듣다. Although the base consonant for this verb's stem is a diut, in conjugation it is removed and replaced with 릴. And then you add 어, just like with 먹어. See if you can get this sentence. 나는 들어.
너무 많아요.
당연하지. 한국어 문법이야. Now you try to put these verbs into past tense, 동생.
저는 차를 마셨어요. 저는 학교에 갔어요. 저는 아침에 왔어요. 저는 알았어요. 저는 음악을 들었어요. But what's this 누나?
Well, that's a particle. They're quite tricky, so we'll only look at them briefly for now. The basics are that and 는 mark subjects of a sentence, and so do I and ga. And I are added to the end of nouns that end with a consonant, and so 는 and ga are for those with vowel endings. As for and 늘, they're object markers. Nouns that have some action performed on them use these ones, and is for nouns ending with consonants, and 를 for vowels.
이해했어요, 누나. 이해하다 is to understand. I said I understood. Verbs ending with 하다 are conjugated just like 하다 is on its own. Okay, 누나. So, 저는 음악을 들었어요. Means I listened to the music, right?
Exactly. The music is being listened to. It receives the action.
I can introduce future tense now. There are two ways you can use this tense. You're likely to hear the 을 거야 structure. Add 을 if the verb stem ends in a consonant, and just add 릴 if it has a vowel ending. It's quite simple. 우리 엄마가 사과를 드실 거예요. 드시다 is a more honorable way of saying 먹다. You would use it towards parents, teachers, etc. Generally those older to whom you should show respect.
So what's the other form, 동생?
그래요. You can also simply attach 겠어 or 겠어요. So, 우리 엄마가 사과를 드시겠어요.
고마워. Just to recap and to teach you some more new verbs, let's look at some other examples. 나는 학교에 걸어. The verb here is 걷다. Just like 듣다, the base digut is replaced with a 릴.
So, in past and future respectively, 저는 학교에 걸었어요. 저는 학교에 걸 거예요.
Also look at 쓰다, which can mean to write and also to use. 나는 책을 써. Verb stems that are only one syllable and that end with lose the and it gets replaced by 어.
Okay, so 저는 책을 썼어요. And 저는 책을 쓸 거예요.
Finally, let's look at 읽다. 나는 책을 읽어.
Easy. 저는 책을 읽었어요. 저는 책을 읽을 거예요.
좋아. Finally, let's take a look at the present progressive. How would you say 누나 is eating an apple?
누나가 사과를 먹어요?
No. Your guess is technically not wrong, but the simple present that you just used can be translated as 누나 eats apples, as in I eat them in general, not that I am eating them right now. Present progressive should show an action that is taking place right now. The structure is easy, and just add verb stem to 고 있다.
저는 기억났어요. I remembered. So it would be 누나가 사과를 먹고 있어요.
Or 드시고 있어요. If I'm far more superior than you.
But in English, this could translate as both Nuna is eating an apple and Nuna is eating apples. Koreans usually don't pluralize nouns, even if the noun being spoken about it is plural. It's usually just guessed from the context of the sentence.
But if you want to really emphasize that there are more than one of something, you can just add 들 to the end of the noun. So 사과들 becomes apples. 할머니들 becomes grandmothers. And 가족들 becomes families. Try not to use 들 too much though. Remember that Korean is a contextual language and that you don't always need to show a plural.
Sounds good. I just have one more thing to ask before we finish. How can I say I'd like Nuna?
Just add or 를 to the object and then 좋아하다 is the verb for to like.
Oh, okay. So 저는 누나를 좋아해요.
And I can say 나는 동생을 좋아하지 않아요. You can make a sentence like Jonathan's negative by adding 지 않아 or 지 않아요 to the verb stem.
Oh, that's not very nice. 왜 저를 좋아하지 않아요? Why don't you like me?
Oh, Jonathan. 나는 동생을 사랑해.
싫어요. You can say 싫어 or 싫어요 for things you dislike. But remember that you need to use it only with 이, 가 subject particles. If you want to use an object particle, then you need to use 싫어하다. So compare. 저는 사과가 싫어요. And 저는 사과를 싫어해요. Don't forget. 저는 사과를 좋아하지 않아요. Finally, by putting an before verb stems, you can negate that verb. For example, 저는 사과를 안 좋아해요.
So, to wrap up, 좋아하다, 좋아하지 않다, 싫다, 싫어하다, and 안 좋아하다. This is a lot to remember, but if you keep practicing and do the review, you'll get to it in no time. That's all we have for today. We always thank you for watching and wish you well until we meet again. 안녕히 가세요.
예, 다음에 봅시다.